Hi, I'm Lola. This is The Sims 4, and today we're doing my very first build along. Our project is the Brook Bungalow, which, fun fact, it's not a bungalow at all. But here's the actual problem. Since I'm still figuring how to build with just base game, and this house is quite huge, the challenge isn't just about making this build look good, but whether or not I can actually create something I'm proud of with such scale. I have been proud of my past builds, but they were much, much smaller. They were actual bungalows. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I think we can do this. So let's get started. And another fun fact, this is the fourth time I'm building this, or recording it, both. Yeah. So, so for what it's worth, I do have a little bit of practice, and I do think I have a pretty good vision. So let me walk you through it. Okay, so let's take a look at this house just really quickly. It has a full bathroom, downstairs, a large dining room, an even larger living area right here. Honestly, a pretty small kitchen for such a large house. 3 bedrooms upstairs, and a full bathroom. So, let me clear everything out except the windows, and then I'll tell you exactly what the plan is. Now that this house is all cleared out, let's start from the upstairs because this is where I'm at right now. I believe this house deserves 2 bathrooms upstairs, and these 2 rooms can easily be divided with a Jack and Jill bathroom in between. Now that makes them a little bit smaller, but I think we can turn those into like just children's bedrooms, and that should be more than fine. Next, this bump out, gone. It is awkward. I don't like it. I just honestly don't know what to do with it. So I'm gonna get rid of it. So, like I said, Jack and Jill over here. And let's add these doors back. This door can be right in front of that window for simplicity. And the other, oh, and let's just, this the door? Yeah. And the other thing I would like to do is extend the railing so that it's a little grander. For such a large house, this is quite a sad looking staircase, you know? Ooh, what is happening? Let me now add the same wallpaper everywhere, just for simplicity's sakes, for the time being, and I'm gonna add that window back as well. Okay, I would like to change the flooring while I'm at it. And in the previous builds, this one looks really nice, kind of grander, a lot fancier, and I'm going to do the same treatment downstairs as well really quickly. And like I said, I have done this a few times already, so I know the general things that I want to do in this house, but I never got fully through the whole details. So all I know is I want this to have like a light aesthetic. And what I mean by that is I want the woods to be white or like really light blonde, whereas the colors will be kind of blue and a little bit of yellow. So I don't know if I'm going to use this exact wallpaper. I don't know if I'm going to use this exact tiles in the bathroom. For the time being, I'm just using the same thing that's similar, just so it's a little bit more uniform. And let me throw in those giant saucer lights around so that we can clearly see everything. And for what it's worth, the reason I use the big ones instead of the small ones, it's because I don't like keeping them in. And if I use the small ones, then I often forget about them, and sometimes things are just too bright in some places. Okay, so with that said, let me also change this bathroom downstairs here. Anyways, overall this looks pretty good. So the kitchen for the time being, I'm going to leave it the way it is right now. I will change the wallpaper and also the flooring once I actually have the kitchen in there. But the one other thing I will do is I will make that kitchen 1 tile bigger, which means I need to move around these arches. And what I think looks good, let me just F5, is double arch. Lovely. Let's just make sure that this matches right here as well. So with the size of this house, I think this will be a two-part build, like 2 episodes spanning. What I think will happen in this first build, I will just get the overall layout and even the exterior, and in the second build or the second episode, then we can do the actual interior furnishings. So when it comes to this bathroom, I think I want to keep this size and shape. I'm not going to change it. What I might do is get rid of this right here so it's a little open. And I think this is the weirdest part about the layout. So like if we remove this whole thing, like that's fine, but it's a little bit too open concept now. So what if we split the difference? Yeah, maybe something like that. And we're just gonna ignore this like white void. I'll put something in front of it like a plant or whatever so we won't see it. Yeah, that looks pretty good, actually, for the starting point. So far with my speed builds and all of the refreshes, I usually try to keep the essence of the build itself. That's why I'm not like bulldozing this or trying to do something different. But one thing what I would love to see here is a sunroom. I would love to see a sunroom that goes maybe 1, 2, 3 or 4. Let's go 4. Why not? They're rich. They have the money. They want the space. So maybe we can have the same floor tile as over there. And that gives us plenty of space to make this a much larger deck. Fantastic. There is a question of whether or not we should expand the deck that way. It's quite symmetrical if we do that. Let's see, let me move up a little. This house is a square box regardless, so I think symmetry is the name of the game for this build. So let me just add a roof. And I think this should be a glass roof. Better. There we go. Cool. And what kind of windows should be here? It's like, oh yeah, a little bit better. So this is a medium wall height, and let's keep it that way. So I'm gonna get to the windows of the rest of the house, or the whole house, in a minute. But for the sunroom, I think maybe something like this would be lovely. Because although this is a traditional house, it is quite basic. I did not move that tree to a better position, did I? That's okay. Here, go over there, which is probably in the way for whatever I'm gonna do next. Oh, so many trees. Like, I do love this lot, actually. This house does not take up even half of the lot. Well, the original house. Now with this back area, then yes it does, but yeah, I think this is it. Fantastic. Okay, I would love a door that goes to the outside. This way you can, it's another entry point to the house instead of just, this kitchen door. And this door matches perfectly with the arches, but I do not enjoy the fact that it does not have windows within the door itself. So the only other option, yeah, because just not the same. Like, look how little that looks. Or maybe, can I Frankenstein something together? No. It's a nice try. But no. But I think symmetry is key here. So let's maybe put that there and this here. The other thing that I would like to tackle is this roof piece up front. What I would like to tackle next is the overall exterior. So like I said, my vision for this house is very kind of light white and blue. With that said, there is a question whether or not the blue will be the siding or the blue will be the windows. So let me get some siding out. You know, the blue Suburban. Like, that is such a lovely, lovely color in my opinion. It's quite pastel. And I think that since the sunroom is has a different window altogether, then it should be a whole different color. So really quickly, like I would love it to be brick. Can it be white? Is that too? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the stuff. Okay. Anyways, back to the siding. We can do something like this and have white windows or extra white windows, which these little ones don't even have that option, which is a fantastic inconsistency. I think these newer like extra white swatches, they just look like, they make me think of like somebody who has like accidentally over whitened their teeth. That's what it just looks like to me. Like, this is not as white, but at least, you know, the shading is much better on this original white swatch. Anyways, okay, so clearly not that one. One thing that is bothering me about this is that maybe it's a little bit too basic. Like, it just looks a little bit like an average Suburban. It doesn't, like, it's missing that slight fancy factor, you know? Better. But I wanted it to be light. So it cannot be black. What if, I do like the idea of the green. But what if I actually wasn't a blue Suburban? What if it was a little green? I kind of like it. Okay. You know what? Let's go with that. Let's see how... I'm gonna essentially bleach the rest of the colors around this house. Like the railing and the stair handrails. This little privacy wall accent on top. So let me do that really quickly and I'll be back in a jiffy. I recolored almost everything. However, we're nowhere near done. I did get rid of the columns because I wanted to do that together. So I cannot decide if I want these chunky monsters or this slightly smaller one. Because I do want a slightly cleaner look, but I think the chunky ones actually might work better. So let's see. Count? Yeah, okay. Nice. Grandeur. And it goes well with the chunky front door. Oh, I missed a window. Okay. Right on. I'm into it. And it matches the handrails. But I think we can step this up a notch. This right here. What if... Oh, yeah. That's kind of fancy. That's kind of stately. Nice. I'm a little bit surprised about the grain, but I think it works quite well. One other thing that I would like to change is make this wood even a little bit lighter if that's possible. At the very least, change the direction of the planks, and we need to change the foundation. So the question is, do we also go white with this? No. Like, this gray matches the roof, but that's not the vibe. Like, even if you overlook the fact that the diamonds are oddly spaced, that's not the vibe. Ooh. Maybe this is the vibe. But I think it grounds the whole build. What do you think? I'm into it. Alright, let me fix these windows really quickly. Let me just finalize the decking both in the back and in the front to something light, a tiny bit lighter. I don't think white will do the trick. Yeah, that's a little bit too light. But what if it was, ooh, yeah, just like very subtle blonde. Now can I find something that is just as blonde but actually looks like a plank? That has a tiny bit too much detail. It kind of looks dirty. You know what? Let's go with that. If it works, then it works. Because like, I want it to actually look like decking. I don't think ever in my life have I seen, you know, this can just go on forever and ever and ever. That's why I don't particularly love that. But I can pretend. Alright, so let's make sure that the stairs match. Is that it? I thought I selected it. Ooh, perfect. And then let's make sure that this little bit... Nope. Remove it? Yeah. Or... Yeah, that's the stuff. And then let's copy it in the back. See, aren't you glad this is not a speed build? This way you would get whiplash. Or maybe just get dizzy. Is 3 enough, or do we want to do a big, large stair? You know what? Let's keep it large for now. If so, I'll make it smaller later. Because this way, it can be quite grand. The other thing I would like to have in this build is, first of all, nope. Arches. What I do want is a fireplace. And I do enjoy this one because it fits the house quite well. It's a little bit traditional. It's actually quite cute. It has a variety of swatches. Like some come in both blonde wood and blue, or white and blue. Just a little yellow and blonde woods again, and just plain white. But it is quite small. And this ugly basement fireplace, like, I never enjoyed this one. Yes, it is horrendous, but it's large. And the same scene by different, but honestly, none of these work. Like, this could work if it was in a brown swatch, you know? Like, if it was actually white as well, or like, again, light blonde. Whereas this one, like, yeah, I mean, okay, I can pick the color later, but we need a spot for this. But that location will be determined by the location of the door here. Because here's the thing. I can add a door right here, but it's going to be off-centered, and that just does not look cute. I can add a door here and here, but honestly, it's a little unfair for one of the small bedrooms to have a door. Mostly, not because it's a small bedroom, because there's so many doors over here as it is, right? So the best placement of a door will be through the master. And that's perfectly fine, to be honest. Like, this looks good, in my opinion. You know, assuming that I put it in a place that it's supposed to go to. Yeah. We have an option to set it to green or to red. I think red is a little much. I think that's our best bet. Fantastic. Which means we only have one window here, and that's one awkward window. But what we can do is add another one, depending on where I'm just picked any random bed for the time being, just to get the layout of the window correct. So we can set it to here and say here. we can move it out a tiny bit. Maybe something like that. Or, hold on. Yeah. So if I match it this and that, and then go downstairs. So I can put this fireplace right here. But what else I can do? Just make more room for it right here. No, that's too far. All right, let me play around with this and I'll show you what I have once I figured it out. Okay, here we go. So these front windows are a little bit closer to each other, clearly because we need the space for the fireplace. But overall, this looks quite good. And we do not need a window on top because it's a bathroom. Now I could add that window right there. Hold on. I'll leave it for now, but we'll see how it looks once we actually get around to furnishing that, the bathroom. Because it only needs one window. And I'm okay with it being like across the door. The reason being is because it makes the layout so much easier. And to be honest, the overall shape of the build is done. That's fantastic. That's not true. I forgot about this side. Of course. Of course. Way to speak too soon. All right. Okay, the kids' bathroom. Sorry. Now that window is way too big. As far as the layout is concerned, I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking. Shower and bath combo here, frankly, but I'll just use that, which means we need a space for a toilet. And we need a space for a sink. So technically, actually, this could work. But the one thing I do not enjoy... Yeah, let me actually pull out the right thing. Is these big towering showers, if I can help it, in the middle of the room, of the house. Because it just like blocks views of everything, which is just unnecessary. So what we could do is forget the window, move this here, maybe move that here and have like a vanity here. Especially if that door gets moved to either there, oops, or split the difference just a tiny bit over. And yes, I'm aware that I'm slightly decorating, but honestly I'm just playing around with the layout. So that's one option, and that gives us a small sliver for a tiny, tiny window above, or just no window at all. Like, that's also okay. So I will be honest, actually I already was, I don't like this window. So small. Like, look how little that looks. I understand in such a big house, the kitchen is not the most important part of the house, but like, that's just sad. Like, come on, like, way to do this house dirty. Sorry, this kitchen dirty, but, which means, you know what we can do? Okay, we can use this window. So it has that top detail. It does come in the blue swatch. So if we put it here, like it doesn't align with that door. And I went through all the different doors. This is the best one for this build, for this spot. Like, technically, like, that's fine. But we have one under contender. This guy. That's huge, actually. I didn't realize it was going to be that big. Damn. Okay. You know what I really wish that this game had? Like, The Sims 3 kind of had it, but it was, like, clear sets. Like, so that I would know that this window goes with this window, goes with this window, and kind of goes with that window, and it goes with this, you know? Like, yeah, I can clearly see them, sort of, because they're all brown. But among all the white windows, I don't know what goes together, to be honest. Like, what does this go with? Like, it's such a specific design with, like, the little arch on top. Does this go with anything? I think this has an arch. But it's a whole other design, different design. Anyways, I'll digress on that. Like this? Not really. This? You know what, maybe? It's a little weird, it's a little different, but it is bigger than this. Which is why I like it. Let's see what kind. Oh, and the colors match. The colors match exactly. But I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. Maybe I don't love it. But it also goes with the height of the door. It's weird. It's experimental. I'm just going with it. I do not care. For this bathroom, I struggled with this bathroom so hard in terms of windows. I just wanted to see this one. Like, what is that? Weird. Anyways, so here's the thing with this bathroom. There was one version of this house where I actually did a basement. I'm not going to do that here. That is too much. This is my... I would like to have less to work with for my very first speed along, build along. So I don't mind giving them like a bathtub here, right? Like, they don't need 3 full bathrooms, but they have 3 full bathrooms. Who cares? That's just a tub. Which means, where does the toilet go? Or the toilet goes here, and that's just a row of cabinets because they can. But here's the tricky part. It's not the toilet. It's the mirror. So if I do something like this, that's actually low. Honestly, too low in my preference. But if then I keep it like that, so it doesn't do anything to the privacy, and it then matches all of this, it matches the height. Can I get a different window? Mirror? Ooh. I think we have the answer. Yeah, because that's too big, and it's a little, like, dingy, like it's beaten up a tiny bit. That's too big. Or do I just leave it here? It doesn't have to be right in front of the window. I mean, the sink. It's nicer, but it's not the law, not yet, anyways. What if, hear me out, wait a second. So it's centered. Ah, perfection. I mean, it won't be these cabinets. I'm just using this to, like, plan things out. But I think I did it. Hell yeah. Okay, let me put the door back. Oh, I'm so excited about that. Okay, let me get rid of this, and that. So for the landscaping, I kind of like what they sort of had going on. Like with these low-lying bushes, and like they had a little bit of variety between these hedges and like these bushes, shrubs, sorry. And what was missing for me was a little bit of like color and interest. So do I go white with the daisies? Oh, that's lovely. And we can have different colors, and then maybe one of these. Roses. Roses are fancy. They're traditional. Let me think about this. Okay, I do not know when these got a color change. Legitimately, I always thought they were just white. When did this happen? Anyways, I'm still thinking about this. Yeah, okay. Let's do the rose bushes in front of, oops, the hedges. As part of like a flower garden? Yeah. You know what? Give me 1 second. Let me just do this corner and then we'll do the rest together. I'm not loving it. I think this is a little bit too polished. A little bit too fancy. End of the day, this is a bit too much. Okay, let me think this through one more time. Okay, I am still not happy with what is going on. And I don't understand why it's not working out for me. So I selected a few of these that, keep pulling them out, that I like them. Sorry. I have pulled out a bunch of stuff that I enjoy. That's what I'm trying to say. Are these, why? I like this hedge. I like that it's very uniform. It's kept. Like this unkept one. Anyways. I think what I'm going to do is for the time being just keep things simple. And then layer them little by little. So I would like to start with this type of hedge. But then, let's see. I also enjoyed this one, especially if we make it a tiny bit bigger, like 1.5. Oh yeah. And what if we had two? One small, one big. Nice. And then this looks frankly very lovely. So maybe what I can do is just copy this right here a little bit, which means I need not this, nope, nope. These come in the purple, right? Cool. With that said, I now more or less know what's happening. Just throw that back there. So let me clean all of these up. Copy this base all around the house. And I'll be back in a jiffy again. Very basic. Not much there. Just a hedge all around. So that's one. I've added just two of these here. One's larger, one's smaller. You know what? Let's make this a tiny bit smaller. And I've also extended the fence to be to the edge of the house. I don't think it needs to be further out. That's all right. I did add a second door over here so that, you can much more easily walk out. And now let me just add a bunch of these. Because, when you place them, they're larger. So that's why I was sparing you all of that. Nah. Alright. So then we can add one here. And, this here, there. Maybe add over there. Perfect. Just twist them around a little bit for some variety, and how they actually look. So this looks a little bit different than this. Section. Here we go. Alright, then we do have a few of these, but I'm just going to get rid of them because I already have the yellow ones. This tree, where should this tree be? Somewhere where it honestly was. But we do have a bunch of trees that I moved out of the way. So this is a slightly smaller one. Maybe that one is going to be among all of this. What about some rocks? I do like these, which are the exact same thing as that, I believe. So we can throw some over here and over there by this tree, because why not? Let's move them around. You know what? Let's go this way. Yep. Honestly, I like it. The vegetation is more about the surrounding area instead of the actual house. But what I can do also is just add maybe those yellow ones. Yeah, just they can be growing out and about over here. just like that. It's a tiny bit too much. So what if I did this? Okay, actually, I'm into it. See? I trusted the process. Beautiful. As far as this pathway goes, so I spent a good chunk trying to find some type of path that works well here. And it's either this one or that one. And honestly, I like the second one better. Let's add maybe one here, one here. Yeah, we don't need that much more, but let them be bigger. Hell yeah. Now these bushes, honestly, I think we should keep them. They look quite lovely. And whatever they did in the back. Like, I love this plant, to be honest. It was always been one of my favorites. But it just doesn't really belong, I don't think. Or does it? Is that what it? Yeah, okay, maybe it does. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know what this area actually needs? No, not those. No. These are also fantastic. I'm so happy that they've added those to the game, even as a debug item. They're just honestly gorgeous. Alright, so this over here, and that over... that this way. No, a tiny bit much. So what if they were right there? Better. What if I removed some of this? Put them here this way. And fill those back in there. Those can be by themselves because what I'm thinking is another tree right here. Are we on the ground floor yet? Nope, there we go. So this goes all the way to there. Let me go a tiny bit further so this way we can put the trash cans right there. I think that's a perfect spot for it. Boom, just like that. And then we can do this, and then that. And then behind the trash cans. Oh yeah, lovely. So I do still have a bunch of loose beaches over there. I think that's a great spot for it, frankly. I'm gonna remove this stuff. Let me plan out the layout of the backyard first, and then we'll finish it off. I think I figured out what I want to do, which is move this into this area. And that can just be like the kid hangout. Then the barbecue can go straight, kind of like right here. There's no reason for it to, just needs to be more or less around this area. Does not need to be symmetrically in between the large stairs, but honestly, I kind of like the large stairs. Super grand, and I'm into it. Actually, no, that's not what I want to do. So the thing about this possibly lovely table is that there's not really a matching chair that I found, so that's not it. That's not it either. And this chair also doesn't really match. So this is the best option. Like, I genuinely do not know. Like, neither the metals don't match, and the woods barely match. Like, I genuinely do not know what this table goes with. So this kind of goes back to my previous comment about the slab farmhouse table. Is there a slab farmhouse chair? I mean, these woods match. I guess it's the interior will be blue. I guess we might as well move that into this. Because this is also just so bright. Why? I was hoping for like a fancy wooden chair. Metal frame chair. But, okay, this will have to do. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. But yeah, so what I was what I was talking about earlier with the windows and the doors and like, you know, how we had sets in The Sims 3. That stuff would have been so much handier here. Like, tell me what goes with this. If you're the one giving me the swatches, you know? Like, make it easier for me, you know, to actually build in this game. But anyways, okay, what kind of... Okay, you know what, let me do the red. Maybe whoever's in charge of the color scheme of this house decided to, like, just let it go for the kids. Because I like it because it's, like, stands out, but in a good way. Like, don't get me wrong, that pink stands out too. Actually, it kind of blends in a little bit with everything else. Like, it's a lot more pastel-y. Anyways, I also wanted to look into this gate, because the blue clearly matches the whole aesthetic. Do we have any other options? So we have the brown and the white. Okay, let's keep the blue. This is white. Yeah, okay. So let me just add some decorations around, such as a table next to the barbecue. Let's see. Maybe I'll move that table over to this side. Or should it be closer to the barbecue? I think it should be closer to the barbecue. So now we're moving the barbecue off center. Great. Are we adding more? Should there be another table? Maybe, actually. Give me a second. Okay, you know what? I'm actually going to do... I'm going to add it to the balcony or the porch. So why not? Just a little bit something like that. And we can add this right here with one of those, and then like a little conversation area that like is looking over. No, if it's looking over out into the backyard, then they should be chairs. Let's see. Awesome. Should these be flipped? I'm okay with that. Because honestly, I don't think I would, it's not an ideal, like, ideally it's in the middle, to be honest, but, you know, we can't have everything that we want in life, so I'm just going to decorate it just around a tiny bit. Let's see, what else can we add? This one? Nah. There's this whole gap over here, like, there should something should be here. But what? A hot tub is... I was gonna say too much. But honestly... And with this blue swatch... I have mixed feelings right now. Because then I can move this over here. Actually, what I can do is move that over there with this, just a tiny bit off, just like that. I don't like the stairs blocked by the hot tub, so maybe something like that. We don't need this tree over here. We can just move this one back and make it a tiny bit smaller. For nothing other than shits and giggles. Which then leaves us these potted planters. And they can be on our floor tiles instead of off of them, which leaves us a little bit of space to now add some final touches. I don't like the hot tub. I would rather this yard to be emptier than for that hot tub to be there. I can do a little bit of finicking around. It's not ideal that it's such a repetitive use of seating, but honestly, I prefer that over the hot tub too. So let's finalize these bushes. Move this tree a little bit out of the way. Let's bring those daisies out of... Okay. I think that just might be it. Let me just go around really quickly to add terrain paint. And I think we got ourselves a house. Okay, the terrain paint is done. It could be a little bit better in some spots, but that's okay. It's not that bad. Honestly, actually, this came out really good on the right-hand side. This left corner with the aspen. Yeah, look at me learning tree names. Also came out quite well. Okay, fantastic. All right, so then on the next episode tomorrow, we'll actually go inside and finish this Brook Bungalow. All right, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.